Hi, all, welcome back. Sunshine Show. Thank you for subscribing. Please remember, subscribe, ring the bell. Thank you all. And here we are, Tom Hanks Part 2. And this one I want to cover because we've got a lot of Qanon followers who are absolutely confidently picking on Tom Hanks being arrested and waiting a lethal ejection, according to them. The QAnon movement getting quite powerful these days. I've been a big critic of them because of the moon landings, because QAnon said that they landed on the moon and seemed to repeat itself on that fact, and that had never taken place in 1969. In fact, if they're being accurate, a country called India bet them to the moon right now, because apparently you can just say you've been there and use greenback type scenario and put people anywhere. So this technology's been around a while, and now the QAnon movement are getting very crazy. They're not flat earthers, but they're sort of looking at the celebrities, realizing that, well, they could be having a fake background, and looking at it, analysing, and it's like, well, why didn't you not analyse all the aircrafts in space, shuttles and everything else that had all this, where they had fake backgrounds, they had arms, whole arms that disappeared. They had a guy floating past with his string harness still attached to him. They had people disappearing, apples thrown up into the air, not realizing that they disappeared. Couldn't, just completely disappeared. And then they'd grab something, like they'd grabbed something, there was nothing there, they weren't grabbing anything. This kind of thing was happening, and now they're looking at Tom Hanks and Rita like that, and looking at tiny, tiny things that don't really prove anything, because we've been trying to prove to everybody else, putting up the bloopers, and it hasn't worked. That kind of thing just doesn't work. And it's a big call to say that Tom Hanks is in prison. You need actual proof. Did QAnon specifically say Tom Hanks was in prison? No, he did not. And what specifically is the clue that Tom Hanks is like this? His son, Chet Hanks, doesn't help very much. He has a pyramid with an all-seeing eye in the middle of it, and which is an Illuminati symbol. And possibly a lot of the celebrities are into the Freemason Illuminati type thing, and a lot of links to it. And we know in Queenstown that 11 or 12 jets, just on the very last day that they were allowed to fly here, all kind of flew here knowing that they had to get here real fast, and did it. Got here, and those celebrities haven't been seen in Queenstown, because people are looking for them with all these conspiracy theories out at the moment, and no one's seen them. And so maybe they've had their holiday and in these houses. Seems like a silly thing to do, just to have a holiday in a house and then just kind of disappear and stuff. With the celebrities, it doesn't seem like a good place to hide a bunker, because, Queenstown is a small place. And in the lockdown, it's a very, very small place, because you had tourists were down, and the place halved in size, so there's only a certain amount of population there. And even though they're hiding underground, someone has to go shopping, buy the fresh food that these celebrities need, and their appearances wouldn't look that good if they're underground. So I think they would just be in the mansions at this stage till these events that they're waiting for start to happen. So they must know that something's on the horizon. I watched a video that kind of indicated that something would happen on the 3rd or 4th of July. They were meant to have gone through a blood moon, but nothing much happened there. Or the only thing that really happened were these mad kids doing riots and creating Chaz towns, and Antifa just going nuts, and Black Lives Matter just infiltrating them and taking over. And we've heard that the link with Obama and Black Lives Matter. So if you've got people being crazy, absolutely nuts, you would think twice about prosecuting Obama right now for treason or taking him to court, because you get these Black Lives Matter and they are doing it over a criminal, George Floyd, who's possibly a CIA agent at the same time, as I've explained many times. With the police officer, they both worked in security, and one was a cop, one had a long criminal record, and they were security agents. So they looked like CIA or links to other things. And suspect. The whole thing with those two was suspect, and here we are, people rioting over criminal and killing people, killing other people, killing white people, copying the crimes with white people. One young guy was scalped, and the news just said, well, you know, they didn't really care, thinking that white people deserve it. He's attacked by two black people, which was kind of strange. And so we're living in a time now where you're allowed to be racist if you're black, and if you're white you have to be ashamed. And we had the Irish slavery, which people have forgotten about, and which lasted longer. People say it wasn't a slavery. Well, they were worth 5 shillings, and if an Irishman died, no one cared. So you've got that, and then you've got the African slave worth 50 sterling, 50 sterlings, 5 sterlings, and they did care more about that one, because that slave was worth a lot more, so they didn't want that slave to die. So we're living in dark times, because we have celebrities who've been linked to Epstein. So we have Epstein Island, which was a honey trap, and Epstein was close with a lot of these celebrities. Now Ellen and Tom Hanks were very, very close. The Obamas were very, very close in that group, and they all seem to know each other. And Oprah, now we've got 3 shows that have shut down. We've got the Ellen DeGeneres show is shut down, Jimmy Kimmel is shut down, Oprah Winfrey is shut down and closed. Not necessarily shut down, but they've all closed and stopped and went on holiday. So we know something's up. There's definitely something up in the world, and you've got this body double thing going on at the moment. Now I want to explain body doubles. So in 2013 they said the shape of Bill Gates and Mel's faces had changed. And I'm thinking that if a demon or goes into your body, then you've got 2 identities, and so the face of your shape could change with demonic forms, because people forget there's a second race there, and they aren't quite able to function on our planet, and they don't like the light, they don't like the sun, they don't like the moon. So that's why we need chemtrails to cover it all up for them so they can function. But it would take a lot of chemtrails to make that happen. So right now we live in a very weird end time scenario, possibly, and we have the Jews waiting for their first Messiah to return, because apparently Jesus didn't happen. And then we've got the Christians on the other hand waiting for their Antichrist to occur. And it does say in the New Testament that a lot of Antichrists will appear. And that does seem to be the case. We do have one, Joseph Gregory Harlot is definitely one of them, who are claiming to be the Christ, and then he just plays with words. And that's exactly what the devil would do. Would say, you know, I didn't specifically say that, I've got the Christ gene, and then I didn't specifically, really, he's claiming he's the king, but he didn't really specifically claim that either. Then you haven't specifically claimed anything, you've just specifically been nobody, not specifically claiming anything. So that is the problem when you're not very specific, and you're being very careful, because you know that people are going to trap you, and you know that Christians know the Word of God and know it a lot better than you. But you did say the line of from Abraham was the son of gods, and that you were a descendant of them, but you didn't quite say it in those words. So the son of gods are the angels, and Adam was son of God, was referred to in the Bible. But the Son of God generally was referring to the angels, not Abraham's descendants, and not Abraham himself, because it has to be newly made. So that would be Adam, son of God, and then we got the children of God, which were the Christians, which is completely different again. But Genesis 6 verse 2, Genesis 6 verse 4, and Job 6 verse 1 covers that. Covers the sons of God, so sons of gods, I should say. So he's wrong on that one. Anyway, thank you all. Remember, subscribe and ring that bell. And do remember that we're living in times now, and if we're right, the people that are prophesying on Trump, they're prophesying that he is getting the people that are committing crimes on children, that he's tracking them all down, and that he's doing his job. And the Epstein case is the big one. We got Maxwell, his boss. So Epstein's boss, Maxwell, because she was working for the intelligence, created the honeypot that was on Epstein Island for Israel intelligence. Sorry, Israel intelligence, but you were involved. And we all know that from Sean Atwood, another prominent YouTuber, who's gone into a lot of depth into the intelligence services. And so Maxwell is not just working with Epstein and his lover as well, but is in charge of the honey trap. And she is the boss at the end of the day, because she is the one creating this honey trap for the intelligence services. Thank you all.